With the experienced villager, and today we're going to be cleaning out the exchanger tubes on a Yanmar 2GM20F. The first step we're going to do is we're going to drain the coolant because we're also going to replace the thermostat. This isn't exactly necessary to clean the exchanger tubes, but it kind of is because you got to take off a lot of hoses to access the front panel. So there I got my water bottle positioned right there to catch the coolant. As you notice, it's gonna come really slow because there's a vacuum, and so you take off the top cap and that's gonna let it flow freely into the bottle. It's gonna take a while, don't get me wrong. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and look at all the gaskets that come with the Yanmar complete gasket kit and just see which ones really belong for the thermostat. Obviously it's not going to be these rubber dudes or that copper. It's not going to be the head gaskets. This one right here, it's going to be somewhere in here, but luckily I already have another one, so that doesn't matter. Okay, cool. Coolant, I put it in there, and then I realized if I had a problem in my exchanger tubes, I'm going to overheat, so I'm taking it out. It's still good. Doesn't look good in there. Okay, yeah, a little, definitely scuzzy. Not cool. If you look closely, you can see there's actually bits of impeller in there, which is alarming because the impeller inside there is intact. So someone just pushed that off and said, alright, well, I guess they went to nowhere. So inside this tube, you might find a little there, so I'm going to undo that and shake it and make sure bits of impeller are in there, so then I clean out the tubes, and obviously I get the same situation if I don't work from where it came out. The gasket's going to be stuck on here, so for the thermostat, you want to scrape that off with a razor blade. Try not to ruin it. Alright, to get to the back of the exchanger, you're going to have to come out here and go through the lazarette. It's a real pain to get in here. It's a tight spot. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put a board over that, the packing, because it's going to out and get you wet and it's not comfortable, and also it's going to be a real pain to on your neck, so you need something a little angle. So we're going to cut some plywood. This is the only piece of wood I have, so I'm going to measure and cut too large and then just come back and do it like 4 times so that I don't waste this and then not get the job done today. Alright, so there's a little bit. Let's see how this works. Alright, obviously this is the 4th try, and it works because, no one's that good at measuring unless, I don't know how anyone could be that good at measuring. I'm not. It's still bad. Alright, so I'm in here. It's a tight spot. If you're claustrophobic, this isn't going to be good for you, but, paying someone isn't good either, so you got to do what you got to do sometimes. You got to take that hose off there, and then you're going to be able just to remove the whole thing. That tiny hose at the bottom there, it's seized up. I can't even seem to turn it, and I don't want to because I might break it. And I was able to drain the coolant out with the other hose, so it wasn't really that necessary. Alright, worst part about this area is the fact that you can't get your arm around the mixing elbow and hose. So you got to kind of do like a crazy person. And when you turn on these bolts, if you're not pushing back on it at the same pressure you're turning it, it's going to work its way off of that nut and it's going to strip the outside. And then that might, since it's so rusty, that amount of stripping might actually just ruin the entire job. So you really have to get your hand on the other side of this exchanger, mixing elbow, to put pressure on it, or you're gonna screw yourself. So I know it's a pain, but you got to do it, buddy. Now this one right here is particularly annoying because whoever designed it put the drain plug so close that you couldn't fit a box-end wrench on there. So luckily I have 2 set of tools. I have a Craftsman and I have a Duralast. The Duralast socket 10mm was able to actually fit in there, so I'm contemplating at this point, using the opened end, but then you lose, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 surface area size, and that's just that might strip it. So I go ahead before I even attempt that, and luckily it fits. I got it off. Yeah, it looks scuzzy. It absolutely looks scuzzy. And this, I'm not sure what that white stuff is either. That's just like something really bad. But it all breaks off, so that's cool. I tried a guitar string, pushing it through there. Then, like when it stopped moving, I got a pair of vice grips, and it still didn't work. So I had to go to the store and get a piece of all thread. I think it's number 10. It's got a yellow tip at Home Depot. I'm not sure what size it is, but I stuck an Allen wrench in there to see if the right size, and it stuck in my pocket when I went to Home Depot. But this does a trick, and there's about 4 or 5 pieces of exchanger inside the exchanger tubes. Now you're going to come here, and I'm using that green bottle stuff, the calcium iron remover stuff. No one told me to, but I just figured whatever. It didn't really seem to help, so if you don't use it, that's cool too. Just elbow grease, I think, is really the key. Get all that stuff off. If you'll notice on these gaskets, they go a certain way. And there's a weird it looks like it's just a defect or something, but both of them have them in the same area, so obviously it's not. So when you put that inner gasket on, you're gonna want to make sure it fits right. And that's actually the sketchiest part about this job, is putting that little rubber gasket on, because you really have to just pinch it in place, and it barely sits there, and then you got to get it right on there. And if it falls, then you're covering the exchanger tube and you lose efficiency. And also it probably has a purpose, so not having it in there is bad too. What I'm doing here is I'm using a wire brush and scraping it, and that's not doing anything so hard, so I have to get a screwdriver and break away some of this buildup on both.